Limo, and with me today I have Christopher Fan and Amy Houston. The information that I'm using today has come from MSNBC and the Kangas Kids Organization. Childhood should be a time of laughter. Childhood should be a time where you can run through your neighborhood and ride bikes down the street to your friend's house or set up a lemonade stand in the summer. But how safe is your neighborhood, and how well do you know your neighbors? Sex offenders have increased, and they're in every town, every state, every country. So as a parent, wouldn't you want to know if one lived across the street from you or even next door? Is it right for sex offenders to be named and shamed like that? And are their punishments too lenient? I believe yes to both of these questions. If we were able to have access to this information, then we are able to protect our kids from future harm. We're able to help law enforcement agencies track down these individuals through the public eye because we have access to their photographs, we have their addresses, we have their previous convictions. Also, by having this information, the convicted felons know this, and so it's discouraging to them, and they might not commit these crimes again to other children. So, it's beneficial to have that. Also, as a parent, you're able to protect your children because you know where they live and you know what they look like, so you're able to protect them and prevent them from, being molested or being kidnapped and possibly murdered. In 1994, a 7-year-old Megan Kangas was kidnapped from her home and brutally raped and murdered. What her parents didn't know is the molester who did this, who lived directly across the street from them and was a 2-time convicted sex offender. Had her parents had information that they do now, then they would have been able to prevent this from happening, possibly prevent this from happening to their child. Before this, law enforcement did little to protect the children in society from being harmed. That's not the case today. In 1996, Bill Clinton passed a law called the Megan Law that provided information to the public in most every state. So now we have this information and can protect our children. In some states, it's, you get more information than in other states, but we need to continue to push for these laws so that every parent, every state can have this information. Also, these convictors are let off too easily, just like the Megan Kangas example. Her sex offender has been a 2-time convicted sex offender. So had his punishment been harsher, then he would still be in prison. It also goes to show that most sex offenders usually commit their crime again. They don't learn from their mistakes. It's a mental illness. So they do it to one person, most of the time they end up doing it again. So if these laws were harsher, then that would also be discouraging to them because they might not want to spend the rest of their life in prison. But, what the law, enforcement agencies need to know and the government needs to know is that, this is a traumatic experience for children, and it's lifelong to them. So while their sex offenders are let off after a year or two, they continue to deal with this. 10 to 36% of all females are going to be raped or molested at some point in their life, and 10 to 15% of males. So, and these individuals who are raped are more prone to do worse in school. They're more prone to drugs. They're more prone to be sexually active sooner. So by trying to prevent these individuals from getting out earlier, we're protecting our children and keeping them in school and having a better lifestyle for them. So, us as a community need to continue to push for harsher punishments for these individuals and for continued access to this information so that me and you as well can protect our children and possibly hold justice for other children who have been, molested and raped in the past. So I hope that y'all get something from this and will also support that fact. And I would like to thank Amy and Chris again for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope that y'all get